Welcome to Understanding Atoms, the building blocks of everything. In this video, we'll embark on a fascinating journey into the minuscule world of atoms and discover why they are fundamental to our understanding of the universe. Have you ever wondered what everything around you is made of? From the air you breathe to the chair you're sitting on, everything is composed of tiny, invisible particles called atoms. They are the fundamental units of matter, and understanding them is key to understanding the world. Atoms are the smallest unit of an element that retains the chemical identity of that element. Think of them as the Lego bricks of the universe. Each atom is incredibly small, far too tiny to be seen with the naked eye, or even with a powerful light microscope. They are constantly in motion, vibrating, spinning, and interacting with each other. Why are atoms so important? Because literally everything you can see, touch, and even can't see is made of atoms. They determine the properties of substances, how they react with each other, and ultimately, how the universe works. From the largest stars to the smallest bacteria, atoms are the common thread. Despite their tiny size, atoms are not indivisible. Each atom is composed of even smaller subatomic particles. Let's break down the main components of an atom: the nucleus and the electrons. At the very center of every atom is a dense core called the nucleus. The nucleus contains two main types of particles, protons and neutrons. Protons carry a positive electrical charge, while neutrons have no charge, meaning they are neutral. The number of protons defines the element. These particles are held together by a strong nuclear force, which is one of the fundamental forces of nature. Orbiting around the nucleus are electrons. Electrons are tiny, negatively charged particles. Unlike protons and neutrons, which are relatively heavy, electrons are incredibly light. They occupy a region around the nucleus called the electron cloud, and their movement determines how atoms interact with each other to form bonds. To understand atoms better, two key numbers are used: the atomic number and the mass number. These numbers give us important information about the composition and identity of an atom. The atomic number, represented by the letter Z, is simply the number of protons in an atom's nucleus. This number is crucial because it defines the element. For example, every atom with one proton is hydrogen, every atom with 6 protons is carbon, and so on. If the number of protons changes, you have a completely different element. The mass number, often represented by the letter A's, is the total number of protons and neutrons in an atom's nucleus. It essentially tells us the atom's approximate mass. For example, carbon typically has 6 protons and 6 neutrons, giving it a mass number of 12. Electrons contribute very little to an atom's mass, so they are usually not included in this calculation. Sometimes, atoms of the same element can have different numbers of neutrons. These variations are called isotopes. For example, carbon-12 has 6 neutrons, but carbon-14 has 8 neutrons. Both are still carbon because they both have 6 protons, but their mass numbers are different. Isotopes can have different physical properties, and some are radioactive. Under normal conditions, atoms are electrically neutral, meaning they have an equal number of protons, positive charge, and electrons, negative charge. However, atoms can gain or lose electrons, which gives them an electrical charge. When an atom has a net positive or negative charge, it's called an ion. Gaining electrons makes it a negative ion, or anion, while losing electrons makes it a positive ion, or cation. Atoms are rarely found in isolation. They tend to interact with each other to form more stable structures. They do this by forming chemical bonds. The two main types of bonds are covalent bonds, where atoms share electrons, and ionic bonds, where electrons are transferred from one atom to another. When two or more atoms bond together, they form a molecule. Molecules are the smallest units of a compound that retain the chemical properties of that compound. For example, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom bond to form a molecule of water, H2O. These molecular structures are what create the incredible diversity of substances we see in the world. And there you have it, a glimpse into the incredible world of atoms. They are the fundamental building blocks that make up everything in the universe, from the smallest speck of dust to the largest galaxy. We've covered what atoms are, their essential parts, protons, neutrons, and electrons, and how concepts like atomic number, mass number, isotopes, and ions help us understand their properties. We also briefly touched on how atoms bond to form molecules, creating all the substances around us. Understanding atoms is not just for scientists. It's a fundamental step in comprehending the very fabric of our existence. They are the universal building blocks, constantly interacting and shaping the world, and indeed the entire cosmos. Thank you for watching.